Introducing the Hack5 LAN Turtle and a site-to-site VPN with OpenVPN Access Server. All that and more this time on Hack5. This episode of Hack5 is brought to you by Domain.com.
Hello, welcome to Hack5. My name is Darren Kitchen.
Hey y'all, I'm Shannon Morse.
It's your weekly dose of Technolust.
Welcome, I'm so excited to be back.
This is going to be an epic show. I am super excited. Hey,
I
welcome
know.
back. Welcome back. I'm hoping that you
you.
were well rested from your little vacation in North Carolina.
I believe I am still on vacation, but I'm here and I'm ready to work.
All right, well, I'm excited because we're going to do two really fun things today. First of all, we're going to debut the latest addition to the Hack5 family of pen test and sysadmin gear, the LAN Turtle.
Woohoo!
And we're also going to be doing some really cool things with OpenVPN to bridge discrete networks in what's called a site-to-site VPN.
Oh, yeah, I watched your episode last week and that was pretty cool where you did one from external, so site to site.
So now that we have an OpenVPN server set up in the cloud, let's go a step further. This is really cool. Let's just check out the demo. Okay, so I've set up essentially here a remote access kind of demo in that I'm not here. It looks like I'm here at the warehouse. I'm not here at the warehouse.
But you're really on vacation in Tahiti.
Right. So, being on vacation in Tahiti, I want to have access to all of the wonderful things that we have here on the Hack5 warehouse LAN.
Of course.
Like our Synology NAS and all of the other, interesting things. I want to be able to print to the network printers and all of that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Well, to do that, we're going to do a little site-to-site. And actually here, if I check out my laptop right here and do an ifconfig WLAN 0, I'm actually not on the Hack5 LAN here. I'm on a 10.1.10 something network. I've got this IP address here. And the reason being, you'll see I'm connected to pen test with Hack5.
Okay.
We have a couple of LANs here.
Right, okay, so that's your external network, and that one's also secure, right?
Yeah, the idea being, since we have 4 different cable modems because of esoteric reasons, I can simulate this quite easily. Otherwise, I would tether to my phone. But essentially, I am not on the same LAN as a little friend of ours that we'll see here in a moment. But I want to have access to all the things normally on the Hack5 LAN, which is a 10.73.31.
Okay.
73.31 being leaped backwards.
So you have to be able to log in somehow. Well, usually I would just use SSH or something like that, right?
Right, but I don't, pretend I don't have access to, I don't know, port forward, port 22 to something inside the LAN.
Okay.
Right?
Right.
It's really easy to get out of a network. It's hard to come in.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is actually come in through a client that's also on the LAN. You'll see here in just a sec. Basically, I'm going to...
So what happens if you ping our network in here right now?
Okay, so
it's
as you can
give you an
see,
error, right?
ping 10.73.31.1. That's our router. And I'm not getting any ping replies.
Right, okay.
Okay, and I can see that because if I issue route, I don't have, let me make this a little bit, there. I don't have a route to anywhere on a 10.73.31 network.
Right.
So let's get one. So remember, we have an OpenVPN server up in the cloud. So I'm now going to dial into that OpenVPN server. We've talked about ways to do it in Windows. I'm now going to show you in Linux. It's really simple. You download your .ovpn file, and then you just issue this command. So sudo openvpn, give it --config, and then in this case, I named it frog.ovpn because
frogs.
feeling froggy today. So we'll go ahead and dial in, and it'll say initialization sequence completed. There's also something else interesting here. Look at this, route add 10.73.31. What?
/24.
If I run that route command again, you can see I have a lot, tons more routes and a 10.73.31 route, which is going through the VPN. So wait a second.
So if you ping it now.
Let's run that ping command again.
And you're getting
boom.
replies. Okay,
So
cool.
I am now in Tahiti.
But you're really in our network through a client.
Through a client. That's the interesting thing because I haven't actually set up the OpenVPN server here at the warehouse. I set it up on a virtual private server up in the cloud.
That's weird.
Yeah. So how does that work? Well, essentially, we have a client that is acting as what's called a VPN gateway. And I'll show you what that looks like in the config. Here, let me minimize this. And just as before, let me come over here to, this is the OpenVPN Access Server administration interface that we should be familiar with by now.
Yeah.
And just as before, we've created a user, but this user here, Turtle, I've added a few extra things, namely this check mark right here, Configure VPN Gateway. I did that to allow the client to act as a VPN gateway for these client subnets, and in this case, the Hak5 warehouse, 1073.31.
Okay.
So now the LAN turtle is acting as a gateway even though it's only a client to this server. Again, it's easy to get out, hard to get back in, but with the LAN turtle set up in this configuration, I now get access to that.
So it's kind of like your really friendly roommate who ends up bringing everybody over to the party and allows them in your house.
I think I know the story that you're referencing, and you're giving this wonderful person a lot more credit than they are due. Yes, it's like that promiscuous roommate you had. So there we go. In fact, actually, here it is. This is actually it.
Ta-da!
Ta-da! And here we go. We can totally see.
Right there.
This right here is the LAN turtle.
Well, but it just looks like a little Ethernet adapter.
Well, it is. It even says USB Ethernet adapter. And actually, it works just like one. We had in the pen test with Hak5 class that we did, and we debuted this kind of like in beta, getting amazing feedback. We had people going around rotating from, doing the Wi-Fi Pineapple class with Seb and doing the Metasplit class with Mubix, and then I was doing social engineering with USB Rubber Ducky and LAN turtle.
Right.
Students were coming by, and I'd be like, okay, so, and we gave them a big hacker satchel full of our gear, right? And I was like, okay, so break out your LAN turtle, and this guy's like looking through his bag. He's like, what's the LAN turtle? Because I hadn't told anyone. I'm like, the thing plugged into your computer, and he's like, what? And I'm like, and he's like, you mean the USB Ethernet adapter you guys provided us? Because he's like on one of these newer laptops that doesn't have Ethernet built in anymore. So he's like, yeah, I was totally just using it in Mubix's class. I didn't get the same IP address as everybody else, but I was able to ping all the networks and stuff I needed, so I didn't think anything of it. I'm like,
too funny.
Have you tried SSHing into your USB Ethernet adapter?
So it's really similar to the Wi-Fi Pineapple in the USB Rubber Ducky in that it's very inconspicuous.
That's the whole idea. I think it really nicely complements some of the other pen tests and sysadmin gear. Notably the Wi-Fi Pineapple, the USB Rubber Ducky. It actually borrows from both of their playbooks.
Cool.
Because the USB Rubber Ducky, if you're familiar, the little keystroke injection guy, looks just like a regular thumb drive, so it's inconspicuous, and it's also really easy to write and deploy payloads for because it's already just written in Notepad.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like that same ease of use and covertness, and then also just the ridiculous power and versatility of the Wi-Fi Pineapple. And like I said, it is a USB Ethernet adapter. You can use, in fact, you can find one that looks exactly like this off the shelf.
That's really cool.
If anybody looked at this, it smells like a USB Ethernet adapter.
Is it really?
Yeah, it tastes like one too. See, there, stop. There you go.
Okay. We're not selling this one, right?
No, but we are selling them at hackshop.com right now, as well as at the booth at DEF CON. So I can't wait to see you guys and really dig into this.
So awesome. But it's not just about the case and how inconspicuous it looks.
No.
But it's also because it's really powerful on the inside too, right?
Right, it's running Linux, because we love Linux, and it's got this distribution packed with some awesome software for penetration testers, systems administrators, tech enthusiasts who want to just have access to your house.
Of course.
In essence, it is a tool, a covert tool for remote access, network scanning, and man in the middle.
Ooh.
So
I could do something like a DNS spoof?
You could do DNS spoof, URL snuff, all the other. In fact, it physically becomes the man in the middle in that case.
That's really cool.
It's kind of ridiculous.
All right, so how does it work?
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get this guy booting up.
Okay. With your handy dandy USB adapter.
There we go. So I'm going to plug that into my machine, and we'll take a look at the admin interface. But essentially, like I said, similar to the USB Rubber Ducky that you program with Ducky scripts, this is all about, and actually very similar to the Wi-Fi Pineapple with what we call the infusions. The LAN turtle is all about these open source turtle modules. Ooh. And they do a number of things. Mainly it excels at remote access, man in the middle, and network reconnaissance. It can do so much more.
Yeah. And people could write their own, right? Because it's open source.
There you go. It's up on GitHub, actually. So you can go ahead and create modules and then share those with the community. That's really what our emphasis has always been. USB Switchblade, USB Rubber Ducky, Wi-Fi Pineapple. It's about creating a platform that people can collaborate on and get creative with,
Very cool.
I've written 17 modules for this, but I'm sure there'll be many more written here soon.
Oh, I'm sure.
And the idea is that it's set and forget. The idea is that you configure it to your liking to do things like OpenVPN or auto SSH, so that you always have a shell. You can do it with Netcat if you really want.
And then you just leave it on whatever network you want, and you can just walk away and access it whenever you need.
Yeah, one of my favorite things to do since I've been really getting into Metasploit, especially with Mubix's epic show, Metasploit Minute, I love Meterpreter now. So the idea that I can configure the Meterpreter module in here and then just like, whoop, drop it on a LAN somewhere.
That's pretty awesome.
And have it integrate with Metasploit wherever I am, that's kind of epic.
All right.
So since it is set and forget, one of the things we did was to keep it simple as possible, but no simpler. We created this little thing that we like to call the turtle shell. So managing the entire thing is done over SSH. So I'll just go ahead and SSH into my LAN turtle, and this is the turtle shell.
It's adorable.
I know, isn't that cute? Check this out.
Okay, so how does this work?
Well, basically, it's a little GUI. It's a graphical user interface, and it should be very familiar. In fact, if anybody's installed Linux, in fact, as just 2 weeks ago we were installing a Ubuntu server, it's basically, and actually the Zen server used the same install. It's this front end for what's called ncurses. It allows you to make graphical things in the shell. It's pretty cool, and check it out. You can just navigate it like this. I'm going to go to modules because this is where the real turtle power lies, in these open source modules. Now on this one I only have 2 modules right now, the OpenVPN module and Module Manager. I'm going to go ahead and open up Module Manager and check out the directory, which connects to landturtle.com. And these are all of the manuals.
Can I just point out the shift button is your friend in this menu.
Right. So I'm just going to check the boxes next to all of these, all of those epic modules, and go ahead and hit OK, and it's going to download them over the air right over to the LAN turtle.
Cool.
It's installed those, so now I can just go back, and if I look at my module listing now, check this out. Auto SSH, DNS spoofing, I can do Meterpreter, Netcat, Nmaps, OpenVPN, Ping Tunnel. I can set up scripts to do, to run scripts and give me the output by email or HTTP, SSHFS, and URL snarf, just to name a few. And so this is pretty cool because you can just drop this on the LAN. You've pre-configured it over SSH, and now whenever you drop it, it's going to run whatever you want. You enable the SSH servers, it's going to run on boot. It's really exciting and super, super, super simple.
So explain to me how it is networked and how it's being powered, I guess I would say.
Okay, so this one right now that I'm logged into is powered over my laptop, and I'm connected to it, and I got an IP address from it in the 172.16.84 range. And as you can see here, it's also plugged into
the Ethernet.
And that means that it has access to the LAN.
Very
so
cool.
This side, it's power, but it also gives the computer an IP address. So if you plug this into a Windows machine, it's going to install the drivers and show up as a generic USB Ethernet adapter, and it's going to give that computer an IP address. Likewise, if you then unplug the Ethernet cable that's going into that box and plug it into here, this side is going to obtain an IP address from the network you've plugged into, thus making it a man in the middle.
Ah, that's really cool. So what about if you have to set a static IP?
Okay, under config, same thing. You go to change your WAN IP address, and you can go ahead and set up static.
Cool.
You also do the little MAC address changing as well.
Awesome. Okay, so if I have a whole bunch of Dell computers or something, I could just set it up to look like a Dell.
That's a good point, yeah. So if you walk into a shop and you're like, everybody here's got a Lenovo, you can make it look like a Lenovo. Should be a lot of fun. We are really only scratching the surface, and I want to point out that we have a ton of these over video tutorials, in fact, that we've just done over at landturtle.com. Check this out. I'm very excited about this, as you can tell.
Great job on the website, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, can you tell whose heels those are?
I totally know whose heels those are.
That's the idea. Actually, I love this photo just because it really emphasizes.
You're welcome.
Yes. And I really want to point out that I've done a lot of work. We've been working on this since probably before February at least, and pulling ridiculous hours to make this happen because similar to the Wi-Fi Pineapple and the USB Rubber Ducky, which have they have articles and videos and all of that stuff. I've done that, and those have naturally evolved. This is like out of the gate. All that information is here. There's LandTurtle basics from 101 to 107, everything between DNS spoofing and URL snarfing and SSH file systems and setting up auto SSH and Meterpreter and all of the modules and how to get this thing going. So I'm just very excited.
I'm excited too. Well, I have to say thank you to you personally, Darren, for teaching us how to use this at the Pen Test with Hack5 training seminars, because that was a lot of fun, and we solved a whole bunch of questions that I had about the LandTurtle. And it's just such an interesting experience to have our own hardware.
Well, I have to actually thank...
So congratulations.
Well, thank you. But I actually have to thank a lot of the people that came to Pen Test with Hack5, saw it, and gave us some amazing feedback saying like, oh, well, what if you could do this? And then those became features. And that's why this is really exciting to be launching a new open source project like this with the open source turtle modules where anyone can write them and see there's only 4 functions. The API is that simple. You can write them in Bash, Python, PHP, whatever. And I mean, you need a start, a stop, a status, and a configure. That's it.
So cool.
So anyway, we're just scratching the surface, but very simple to write for. I can't wait to see the community contributions over on the forums, over on the GitHub, over on the wiki.
Yeah.
It's a really exciting time to be a hacker.
So again, it's hakshop.com if you want to grab your own, and we're also going to be at DEF CON.
Yes, we
have
are.
lots of fun happening at DEF CON.
Yes,
Should we tell them?
Well, come by and get the book.
We put a lot of work into the book too.
Yes, very exciting. Yeah, let's take a quick break and then we'll talk about some DEF CON good stuff because I hear that there might be cake.
Ooh.
Domain.com and .club came to Hack5 with a great idea. Build a club all about learning stuff, making things, and having fun. And so we did just that, and man, what a brilliant idea. We recently hosted our very first ever open house at the Hack5 warehouse, and with the help of Domain.com and .club, we put on a mini LAN party, micro drone obstacle course, 3D print fest, quadcopter race, and killer barbecue. And I must say, these guys get it. The internet, and hacker culture in particular, it's all about fostering community. From BBSs to FidoNet to IRC, it's all about coming together and having fun, and what better domain to do it than a .club? It's perfect because a .club is universally and globally understood, not just here in the United States. So if you're building a new business or naming your startup, consider a .club as the ultimate social domain. Join us in the San Francisco Bay Area for workshops and projects and crazy indoor quadcopter races at our very own .club, hackhouse.club. Then head over to domain.com/club to register your .club today. They're only $9.99 a year and there are thousands of awesome options still available. Make sure to use the coupon code HAK5 to save 15% and let the guys over at domain.com know we sent you. So, when you think domain names, think domain.com.
So I hear there's going to be cake.
Yes, the cake is indeed not a lie.
Yes.
If you're going to be at DEF CON, in fact, right before DEF CON, there's another amazing conference. And no, I'm not talking about Black Hat. I'm actually talking about B-Sides Las Vegas.
Yes!
If you've never been to a B-Sides, you absolutely should go. They're affordable, they're fun, they're ridiculously crazy. Mayhem is happening. And this August 5th, just so happens to be the same date as actually a talk that Sebastian and I are giving on Wi-Fi Pineapple Foo and how not to get arrested on the Golden Gate Bridge, but that's a different story. And our birthday. The Hack5 10-year celebration.
10 years. Oh
so
my gosh.
we contacted Banshee. They're having a pool party. We're going to be there having so much fun, and she invited us to bring cake. So we've got like cake for like 500 people. So come on down. It's at the Tuscany. It's like, I can't stress how affordable and awesome it is. So get out a day early. Come out to this. It's going to be so much fun. So many great talks and this pool party mayhem. And our Hack5 10-year anniversary birthday. Thank you so much, B-Sides guys, for hosting us. We're so excited to be part of this community.
We love
I can't tell you how blessed I am personally. I wrote a little, not a foreword or whatever. Anyway, I don't want to get sappy now. I'm just so happy and so proud. So thank you. Thank you for your feedback as well. Feedback at hack5.org. That's where you can let us know. And also all the comments, because we have some great discussions. Last week, amazing discussions.
Oh, yeah,
dude, people
absolutely.
love some pfSense. So maybe we should start getting into some open source router configs and things.
I think that's a great idea. We
virtual
should.
machines and routers, they go well together.
That's a great idea.
Yes.
And of course, hak5.org/follow is the last site that I'm going to pimp today, and that's because that's where you can go to find out what events we're going to, where you can follow us on social media and stuff like that.
Yes, you can find out about the booth that we're going to have at DEF CON. You won't miss a giant pineapple. Anyway, with all of that said, hakshop.com is where you can find the Land Turtle, as well as landturtle.com. I can't wait to see you guys' feedback. We are so excited to be bringing this to you, in fact, a few days early this week. With all of that, I'm Darren Kitchen.
I'm Shannon Morse.
Trust your Technolust.
Bye!
Yay! We did it! Name the show!
You made a land turtle!
Cowabunga!